Okay, today's December the 2nd. You should have made sure you've submitted your assignment number 41. Since I'm not in, Since I am not in class today, we will go over questions on assignment 41 when I return on and see you in class on Thursday. So keep that in mind. I'll look at the report and see what you missed. If you've missed the bell work notice or you missed the notes on the side of the board, you should have all picked up a copy of the bell work from the front podium and done those 7 questions. And then after you've completed those, start the video going over those. Okay, so looking at the top of the notes, it said, what is the y-intercept? We've talked in class extensively about the y-intercept being the intersect is where the graph crosses the y-axis. It's also called, it's also where the x value is 0 and referred to as b. So this is the new letter that we're going to be using for the y-intercept. Y-intercept is always at the point where x is 0 and y is some number. Yesterday in class, we talked about things being proportional. Starting at the origin, the y value was also 0. Today, we're going to discover that this can be floating around the grid. Slope, universal letter for slope is n. And we've learned that from counting it in graphs or calculating that in tables. So looking at the first few problems here on your notes, find the slope and the y-intercept for each pattern. Again, I would find 2 points. My slope would be going down 2 and right 1, which would be simplified to -2. And my b would be at 0, 2. You can also write that just as b equals 2, okay? That's where it's crossing the y-axis. If I'm going to do a table, remember, I'm going to do the math problem here, and I'm going to look at the change from y1 to y2, so -24 minus -12 over 1 minus 0. That's going to give me -12 over 1. And my b value is going to be wherever the x is 0. So my slope was -12, and my y-intercept was -12. Now, just a little reminder in case you've forgotten, you could also find slope by looking at the patterns, finding what's happening in the y. The y's are going down 12. The x's were going up 1, so my slope would be -12 over 1. In this one, I'm going to use that shortcut here and realize that my slope is going up 40, up 1, so my slope would be 40. And my y-intercept would be wherever y is 0. Y is not 0 in the table. But since I've utilized the patterns, I could continue this pattern back and fill in what would the pattern be when x was 0. So I would subtract 40 from 70 and be at 30. My y-intercept would be at 0, 30, or a b value equals 30. In this one, I'm going to go from here to here. Now be careful. I know this looks like it's just simply up 3 boxes, but these 3 boxes are 15 units up, and these 3 boxes are 3 units over, which gives me a slope of 5. My y-intercept is, where is this crossing the y-axis? -15. So again, that would be the ordered pair 0, -15. Or you can simply write b equals -15. Again, looking at this one where you have intervals that are not 1, you've got to be careful here. And when you go up from this, yes, it's up 3 boxes, but you have to determine how much each box is. In this case, each box is about 15, so that would be up 45 and over 3, which means I have a slope of 15 and a y-intercept of 45. And in this problem, again, any 2 points you can use. I'm going to start with the y-intercept. That would be this point right here, which means my slope would be, or my y-intercept would be -6, 0, -6. My slope then would be -9 minus -6, and 2 minus 0. It's going to be -3 over 2. -3 over 2. And then the last two questions have you looking at which function has the greatest initial value. Remember, the initial value is where it's crossing the y-axis. So that would be that point, that would be that point, and that would be that point. So you would look for that value in each of those. This one has an initial value of -2. This one has an initial value of 4. And this one has an initial value of 5. Which graph has the greatest initial value? Graph C, or function C. Not which graph, which function. All of those are functions there. And which one is increasing at the biggest rate? So if I'm increasing at the greatest rate, that means I have the highest slope. And so I would need to find the slope of each of these. So the slope of this one would be 3 over 2. I would do 10 minus 7 and 2 minus 0. The slope of this one would be 1 over 3. And the slope of this one would be up 1 box and over 1 box, but be careful, this is going by 2's. So that would be up 1 and over 2. M has a slope of 1/2. Which function is increasing at the greatest rate? Function D. Function D. That concludes the bell work discussion. At this time, this video is going to be over. You're going to go keep your bell work paper out, but you're going to go up and get a copy of the notes, 4-5, writing slope-intercept form. And once you pick these up, you're going to start the next video. And that video will take you through the notes.